As a preliminary, may I start, Holly? All right.
Wait, I have one question. You know, reading this whole thing, is there any way that that could be taped and then Brooke could be like fill in the
So you don't have
gap?
to listen to me drone. I get it.
No, I'm just like you could fast forward it.
Well, you know what I can do is I can screen share this and you can all say that you read it. Is that okay, Holly?
I don't think that's per Governor Baker's order. So I wouldn't defer any from what we've been doing, unfortunately.
Well, he obviously doesn't have to read it then.
Right.
Go ahead.
Wait. So am I or?
You are reading it.
You're gonna read
Okay.
it. Thanks, Brooke.
See you, Mickey. You guys can all.
It again.
As a preliminary matter, this is Holly Backus. Sorry, this is Brooke Mirbrigan right here. Holly Backus is
Present.
present and organizing this. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Mr. Mickey Rowland, can you hear me?
Here.
Can you hear
I
me?
hear you.
All right. Lucy
hear you.
Dillon,
You hear me?
Yes.
Mr. McLeod,
I can hear you.
you can? Okay, great. All right. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Holly Backus. All
Present.
right. I actually can't hear you, Holly.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, are there any anticipated speakers on the agenda? All right. Let's see. Good afternoon. This open meeting of the Historic Structures Advisory Board is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. Is that correct? Holly?
That is correct, unless somebody decides to chime in and
Yep.
wants to speak, but there's
An
nobody here right
exception
now.
will be made if a member of the public wishes to speak. All right. For this meeting, the Historic Structures Advisory Board is convening by video conference via Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join for Zoom meetings. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and that all attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and to take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. Meeting materials. All supported materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I, Brooke Mirbrigan, the chair, notes otherwise. Meeting business ground rules. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, Brooke Mirbrigan, the chair, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you and state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in a conversation with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. For items with public comment, after members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment to those members of the public that have joined the meeting via Zoom. Members of the public who wish to speak must state their names and be acknowledged by and speak through the chair. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. And we're not really voting per se, but there it is. All right, is that it? How'd I do?
Perfect.
Excellent. All right, first item on the agenda.
First one is 5 Cornish Street. I will notate that they did not indicate the historic significance of the structure. I will tell you that there is an HDC survey saying that this is a 1933 cape with later additions done in the 70s.
Who was it that submitted this application? Someone who should know better?
Steve
I
Rothke.
think the property owner.
Oh.
No, I don't think Roski did. Did they? Hold on. I could be wrong.
Rothke, isn't that a builder?
It
Yeah.
is.
He's a
Yeah, it is
designer
Roski.
builder.
You're right.
Holly, did you say this was from the 30s?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a historic structure survey. I'll show it to you right here. It's a simple cape. It's the same structure. It's there now.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's an infill dormer or a
Yes.
2 gables
They're
with an
adding-
infill, and that's facing forward on the lot.
Correct. So this section here being added. The elevation. There you go. I'm going to scroll, if it's okay with you, I'm going to scroll farther down. At first I was a little irritated because the plans didn't show what the existing elevation looks like. Here are the photos. But farther in the package, they have them side by side. There's those additions that were done in the 70s on the back. All right, here. I think these are the ones that have both. Sorry, I get them the same way. So. Aha. Okay. Yep. Sorry, I went too far. Guess not. That's why. All right, is this better for you guys? Where you can see both
Yes.
proposed facade
Yeah,
and
that helps.
existing?
There it is.
So I had some comments on this if you wanted me to start, because I looked at these beforehand, try to help facilitate
Yeah, go ahead.
guys. So the front dormer addition, it seems to be, you get 2 gable ended with a shed dormer connector in the middle. My opinion, it kind of seems out of place. It's almost as if they should be just 2 simple or a little bit larger gable dormers and get rid of the connector shed, but they're probably doing it for the interior component. The west elevation, this new window here, I'm not too sure why it's not in the same sizes as the existing, unless that's a bathroom. I didn't look. I did appreciate the shed dormer extension with 3 windows on the rear instead of 2. I'm not too sure. It looks a little odd, but then again, then the whole thing would be full of windows. But I know this was done in the 70s. So those are just some thoughts that I had. Okay, back to you.
All right, Mr. Rowland, would you like to go first?
Yeah, when I first looked at this, I kind of was agreeing with Holly's comments. It looked a little awkward. It's sort of growing on me. It's a little quirky. I'm not sure the branch plan is the usual things. It's not, it's not real clean, but again, um, I'm not sure what the alternatives would be. I guess we could ask for those because we're just looking at the one idea. So that's the dormers. One thing just to point out that I didn't notice at first is the side view, the left side view, west. There's some full-sized lattice panels on the porch, and seems like that's a big sheet of lattice. And maybe that could be broken up a little bit. Maybe the railing should run around and put lattice on top, or I don't know, something. There's a baluster railing on the front, and then it switches to this full lattice panel on the side. So I think that could be fixed somehow. That's it.
Lucy?
I agree with Mickey about the lattice. I'd rather see the railing turn the corner. Holly, I don't mind that small window on the west elevation. And once again, where are the AC units?
Is that all?
Yes.
Mr. McLeod?
Yeah, the little window doesn't really bother me. The dormers do, and that in elevation when you're looking at the two dormers at the same time from the street, I don't think there's enough depth there to have that read correctly. If it were a couple of feet or a few feet or something, but I think that's kind of a nominal difference. I'm looking at the second floor. There's a stair that goes up there, so you don't really need the head height for that, but it looks like the vanity in there needs some head height unless something changes in the plan. But I feel like it's reading all as one large dormer, and maybe it ought to just be a simple shed dormer. So it makes the windows a little bit lower on where the gables are, but it feels kind of busy. And when you look at the profile of it, it really is a lot of dormer. I mean, dormer is about window, not about capturing room space. I'm with everyone about the lattice. I think the rail should wrap. And if they want to do screening there, do trellis, some kind of thing, and grow something on it. I can see that they're in pretty proximity. So I privacy thing, but I don't think the deck to 6 feet or whatever of sheet of lattice works very well.
Well, I actually find this quite charming. I think that given the area where it is and some of the odd little buildings down there, that this is perfectly appropriate. In terms of the lattice and the railing, given how far back it is on the lot, I'm not sure that we'd ever see lattice. But it'd be easy enough to put up trellis and plant something, which I think would be much more attractive. I agree with you, Angus, on that. But I do think it is set far enough back on the lot. And according to the locust plan, there is a building that's pretty close to it, so that it would be a very off-angle view if you were to ever even look in and see the lattice, if you look at the locust. But As far as the front elevation, I think that there's plenty of peculiar cottages down there, and this, I think, would fit right in. So that's my comment. And I think, is that it? Anybody else have anything they want to say? Okay, nay.
No,
Yeah.
what I might suggest, go ahead, Angus.
I was going to say about the view of the trellis. Yeah, I mean, on the landscape plan, it shows a building close to it, or on the plot plan. And then it shows planting alongside the house. So I'm thinking that the view is going to be more, street side looking and seeing what's to the side of it rather than
Yeah,
looking from the side at it.
right, of course.
Oh, but that perspective really doesn't help the case here. I mean, it shows exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Mr. Rowland?
Yeah, I think, I agree that we probably won't see a lot of the lattice. I think we're going to see a little of it even at an angle. I'd like to see that railing wrap around. And if they put lattice behind it or above it, I don't really care. But I think the railing should wrap the corner. And, I was also going to say about the dormer, maybe I think Angus's point that there's not a great deal of separation from the face of the gable dormers to the middle shed. So maybe if they could push that back maybe 6 inches or more, just to give a little more depth there, it might feel a little better. But as I said before, I don't really mind the configuration. It's just almost too small. So it seems like it almost wants to be wider, but I don't want to do that. So I kind of.
All right.
Isn't there a house on the intersection of Westchester and North Liberty that has a sheet of lattice hanging from the top of the porch down to the railing? I think there is.
Where,
You're right. I think there is
where
one.
Lucy?
All right. Can we move? We ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm going to say 8 air conditioning units again.
Okay.
All right, let's get the next one up for you. Yes, child, I hear you. I see that. All right, next one is 60 Walsh.
What about the shed at 32 North Liberty? Oh, sorry. I got the wrong agenda. Sorry.
Okay. All right, so of course, this is not a historic structure. It's built 1979, of course, not contributing. This area is also kind of seeing some change as well. It's the locus.
This is move off or demo?
Yes, I believe it does say move off demo.
Yeah. All right.
Move off demo. Yep.
Mr. McLeod? Oh, sorry.
This is it right here. I just want to show you. This is it here. There's some architectural drawings.
I don't have any issues with it. I mean, I don't like waste, so hopefully it gets used, but I don't think there's any historic value to it.
Lucy, any concerns? No?
No.
All right. Mickey? No concerns. No concerns
No
with the chair.
Okay. All right, we'll go to the next one. 62 Walsh. This is for there's 2 for 62 Walsh. One of them is a move demo dwelling and then move demo garage. So let's see.
Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do,
How about garage?
okay. And taking a look at what we had on file with the HDC survey, I couldn't really discern on if this survey was from a previous structure or not.
Wow, that's a cool little building.
But the garage is in the back here. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Those look like modern windows.
That's the garage.
All right, Mickey?
Looks like a pretty new building. I don't have any concerns.
Lucy?
No concerns.
Angus?
Nope.
No concerns with for the chair.
Perfect. All right. And we will go to I believe it's,
Are there any photos for the cottage?
oh, not in the, sorry. Not in what I've got here. All I've got is 3 pages here, so no. Here's the little, like, I guess this is, my apologies, I guess this is the garage. Sorry, here's the photograph. It's this little guy right here. The other structure was farther into the property.
All right, so that's the garage. Do you have anything of for the cottage?
I think we just looked at it.
Oh,
Now this is why I thought it was a little odd. So this is what Macris had HDC survey. And it was up along the front. I don't think this one is there. I don't think this is it. I think it was already gone, to be honest.
So we don't have any date and we don't have any photographs.
I don't believe for the house. So, I think these got labeled differently, so I apologize. I think that's what that's cottage. So demo cottage. Let me see if there's no date on that application.
all right. Angus, would you like to speak to this first?
Are we talking about the garage? Or the,
I thought we were talking about the cottage. I thought we decided that the garage, which was the single-story building, was okay for.
This
moving
right
in.
here is the garage. Sorry, I had them out of order. And then this is the cottage.
Right.
so what
So
we
we
just,
already decided on the garage, correct?
we were talking about the cottage when we were deciding on the garage.
Right. Sorry.
Oh,
Oh, I'm fine with both of them. I mean, it's a cute garage. I hope somebody makes use of both those buildings.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Mickey?
Yeah, no concerns.
All right.
Sorry for that confusion. All right, next one. 75 North Liberty Street. Porch railing. I'm getting proficient in not using a mouse, put too. All right. So this structure is contemporary, 1982. Here are the detail railing features in the existing deck the way it is right now.
I think it's too much.
Okay, Mickey?
I get what Lucy's saying. I don't really mind it. What is Holly, do you know if this is going to be painted or natural?
It's white.
Looks.
All white.
Yeah.
Again, I
Oh,
don't.
well, the deck says natural to weather right here.
Right, but the trim says white.
White.
White. Yeah.
White trim, white sash, roof black. So are they doing other stuff?
They've
This
been
is all this
working-
application is for.
Okay, because there's other indications on the application that there's other stuff going on here. You know, it says white
Maybe-
trim, white sash, doors natural, roof black, but they're only talking about the trim in the revisions. So what's going on?
This house came by a while ago to do like a big dormer thing in the back and maybe some changes in the front. I can't remember. So I don't know if those are referencing the other changes. But
Or things referenced just to give you background perspective on what the house is. I don't know.
Possibly. I can say the owner of this property did send me an email during the whole COVID first started. I didn't have a chance to email back, but he had sent this picture saying that he wanted to put this railing in his porch. I didn't respond to him, unfortunately, but
yeah,
I'm not aware of any other changes.
looking at the picture, which I didn't really look at before. I mean, I know the railing detailing is different than what we would do, and maybe just a little bit heavier. I could go either way in this. I might lean a little bit more conservatively and say it's too much, like Lucy just did.
Angus?
I agree with Liz. It feels like too much. I totally understand them wanting to add some character and detail to this situation, but I feel like, especially if it's white, it's really going to stand out.
What about a crossbuck? Just a
Yeah.
simple like crossbuck, because there are a couple of bungalows in the area, and I think that a couple of crossbucks would be. I mean, as long as it's not too high off the ground.
I would even be fine with the design that they're going for if it's natural, but painted, I think it's really going to pop.
Mhm.
And I think it's busy for everything else that's not busy with the house.
It's not in keeping with the style too. I mean, it's too much frosting on a plain Jane house. And I mean, I don't mean to be for that to sound derogatory, but it's kind of a show stealer.
Yeah, I agree. I think a crossbuck. Are we saying the entire railing crossbuck or just the middle sections as they're proposing, or?
No, I was just thinking like each segment would be a crossbuck as long as they could meet the height requirements to grade.
It doesn't look that high.
Yeah. I mean, it's 32 inches is the height that's the trigger height, and that looks less than 32. So
Brooke, are you saying from post to post a crossbuck?
yeah, just X's in between the posts. And I think it's simple, it's cottagey, and it kind of speaks to some of the bungalows nearby.
I'm okay with that. It's a big X. Do you want to break that in half, maybe?
Yeah, well, we could have 2 X's per panel, you know, with like an intermediate post,
Mhm.
something like that.
Okay.
All right.
You
What
know,
else?
if they do this ornate stuff, what do they do with a railing going down the steps? I mean, too.
Mhm.
Well, if it's a crossbuck, it would be a pretty simple.
Yeah, but I'm saying if they do this, what they are
Yeah.
applying for.
Well, whatever. It's not even a consideration at this point. All right, so are we ready to move on?
Sure.
All right.
Next is 32 North Liberty Street.
What about 51 Orange?
Oh, sorry. I skipped. My bad. Thank you, Angus. 51 Orange. This should be fairly.
It's the roof walk, right?
Yes, so at the end of the day, I have a nice photo you guys might want to see.
So they want to paint it white. It's currently natural.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Correct. It's in keeping with other, of course, this is an 1825 typical Nantucket. It's in keeping with the other roof walks along Orange Street. So
Angus, do you have it?
No concerns.
Lucy,
No concerns.
Mickey?
Okay. You see the photograph of this particular one?
yes,
Maybe it's a little late for this, but it looks like the what's it called? The apron or
Oh, they don't have any posts.
there's no post showing. Yeah. It just looks like one solid mass of vertical board.
Well, we can certainly make any allowance for paint change.
Well, what do you do? They're not asking you to rebuild it.
No, but you can scab something on that and make it look like a post.
The posts are supposed to run through too. You know,
Yes.
Yeah, the detailing is lacking on that. They kind of missed.
Working off of that point, what about having those posts articulated with the paint along with the band, you know, around the deck and the railing, but keep the rest of the boarding natural so it somewhat resembles all the other roof walks that have it open underneath?
Oh, you mean just like like paint it underneath the posts?
Just painting the posts.
Paint everything but the skirt.
Basically everything except the skirt.
I think that's a good suggestion. Is it, maybe should they try to build out the posts? I mean, instead of just a flat surface, one board next to the other one's painted, the other isn't.
I think that they could easily scab a 2x, or 5/4 stock on the corners and in the middle underneath the posts and make it look like it belonged.
I agree with you, Brooke. I think that's a good idea.
It's easy. It's really easy. to
Even
do.
though it is fake veneer, but
Yeah.
The corner posts are not going to align. They're built out. You think
Right.
about it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
They're just for they're gonna point out probably that this one down below is solid white. I don't know where this address is, but you can see over here. It is solid.
Maybe we should get them to verify that this was approved in this style. That this was actually approved without
yeah.
posts going through.
Yeah. Yeah, there's none of these have all of the ones that are used as an example show the posts going through the skirt. So there's no example where the posts aren't going through a skirt
Yep.
in any of the photos. So I think that is a good question.
Yeah, I'd like to this is Mark Ketone. I think we could ask him to make some suggestions how to make this look appropriate.
Yeah.
And have him come up with an alternate idea.
Yeah. And then we'd be comfortable with the white.
Yes.
All right. All right. Moving on.
Yep.
All right.
The alternative walk idea, and then you'd be okay with it for being white. All right, so next one is, am I right? 32 north? Yep. This one is the demo shed. But I think all of these are important to see together. So hold on. So there's actually here's the shed. And this shed is demo move. I wanted to point out that the property card indicates that it was built in 1987. However, the HDC survey for the shed says 1938. It doesn't look like, what am I doing here? It doesn't look like it's the same. Oh, poo. Sorry. It doesn't look like it's the same if you see this picture. But it looks like it's in the same location. It's really hard to discern. So that's the small little shed.
Different.
And Matt's here if he wants to speak to this. Or I'd see his name anyway.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, how are you? So, yeah, I think all you covered it there. I mean, there's nothing on the inside of that structure that would give me any indication that it was from the 30s.
Yeah.
How about the foundation?
Yeah, the foundation I think is a solid pour. I'd have to refamiliarize myself, but it was one of these structures where just both from feedback from the clients and the known history of it, there was just nothing that would indicate it to me that it was anything. I thought it was based on conversations that it was from the early 90s, but 87 would make sense too.
So looking closely, like I've got this on a separate screen, and zooming in, it looks like it's got some pressure treated wood holding the plantings back, and maybe a rectangular pier of some sort. You know, it might be a brick pier,
Mhm.
and maybe yeah. And it's got
I was taking the
lattice.
photographs
Yeah.
and trying to go back and forth and look at it.
I mean, it definitely doesn't look like the photograph that you were just showing, the historic one.
Right.
And it's got oak
It's
floors
just
on the
it's a little odd.
inside. Yeah.
And maybe it was added onto in the 80s or reconfigured, because it does look, the gable end does look larger, obviously. But it looks like it's in the same location or very similar. But I just
Can you-
wanted to bring that to everybody's attention.
Can you go back to the photo of the old one?
Yep.
I think this is a property I did some work on maybe back then. And,
Oh, it's
you know,
definitely not it.
I can't
It's a
remember.
lot smaller.
Yeah, that's not the same. Anyway, Mickey, would you like to say anything?
No, I was just saying that I think I might have worked on this shed. I can't remember, but I don't think it's old. It looked pretty new. So this is the demo or move off of the shed.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that, not that it's historically significant at all, but it is a pretty tight little structure, and looks like it's pretty well framed. And so we're hoping to find a home for it.
Lucy, do you have any concerns?
No concerns.
Angus?
No.
All right, chair has no concerns.
All right.
Success.
Now we have the addition up for you guys. This structure dates to circa 1835 per the NHL data. The HDC survey says it's 1840. So between 1835 and 1840, it's a 1 3/4 style, three bay. In my understanding, obviously looking at this, that the proposed demolition of the shed, it would be allowing this addition. So I just wanted to give you there's a little guy right there. Facade. And thank you for these, Matt.
Matt, would you like to say anything about this before we?
Sure. Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is an addition. This property's been owned by this family for maybe 10 years or less. They're looking to move here full time. Going to retire, and they have extended family and grandkids, and et cetera, et cetera. So they also just want to make the house a little bit more livable. So the general gist of it is that we are proposing to, this rear L is in really bad shape. Can you guys hear those birds?
Yes,
It's so
those
loud.
are Angus's. Those are your birds.
I'm like they're so loud. They're so happy, but they're loud. So maybe Holly, if I could show the demo plan just to kind of, or even the site plan, just to kind of give the bigger picture. So yeah, this rear L, we're looking to remove, demolish. It's in really terrible shape, and we kind of talked about trying to work with it, but the plate heights are so low and the floors are so rotted, and it's just in really, really bad shape. You know, the core of the house that we're trying to maintain is obviously the, you know, this key part of it. And so we are retaining that and kind of doing addition off to the side here. One of the drivers of that as well is the site plan. I don't know, Holly, is it possible to go to that first sheet? Just so I can show you how the property works. There we go. Thank you. So in order to, you know, basically utilize this structure goes away and our new addition is off to the side of it. We're dealing with a front yard setback. And so the new addition obviously is complying with the new zoning bylaws. This connector where we connect does take that bay and, you know, loses it. But general idea for the house is that parking stays where it is and we're creating an access point for the kitchen. And then the house just kind of expands this way. So the real primary core of the main interior of the existing house on the first floor, we do make some changes to the layout. Second floor is essentially staying the same way it is. The stair core stays the way it is, but we did, in order to, you know, we kind of worked around the fireplace enclosures, but there's more work on the first floor than there is the second. Second floor is essentially untouched, and we connect on the second floor at the same junction point. And it's really hard. I mean, I have to say that this structure with the existing roof pitch, you know, trying to create a language of additive massing and maintain that level of hierarchy of the, you know, existing historic portion of the structure is the primary, and these secondary pieces come along with it. It was a bit of a challenge. I think that we looked at a couple of different studies about, Holly, is it possible to scroll down to like one of the elevations, probably the east elevation, which would be this North Liberty side? There we go. So this was the, you know, the trick is to, you know, obviously celebrate, sorry, void, you know, maintain the existing primary structure here, and then add on, you know, accordingly. I haven't seen this in a while because we submitted it a while. We added this little pent roof here. I'm not so sure if I love it. It's not really critical, may detract. We also thought it'd be important to add a corner board here. There isn't one currently, and we just thought that would be more successful. But other than that, we're taking pretty much a hands-off approach to that whole side of the structure. I'm trying to erase that green line. It can't, there it goes. And so the secondary structure is a gable. We tried it eave facing, and it just didn't look as successful. And I also want to point out that it is set back, primarily because of the zoning front setback, but also, again, kind of support this notion of hierarchy. One thing I did talk to with the owners, and this was after we had submitted this, because we were just saying, okay, well, how do you think the HTC and the Historic Structures Advisory Board is going to review this? I said, you know, the height of the addition is something that just kind of still, you know, bothering me a little bit. It's actually lower. The plate height is lower. It's slightly lower than here. But anyways, and they said, well, what do we have for options? I said, well, you know, you could actually step down. You could step down the addition. So instead of the finished floor being up here, because the existing structure sits, even though it's on an existing retaining wall, it's got probably like 18 inches of exposed foundation. So we could actually lower this addition further, and we would have an elevation change inside the building, which generally is not ideal. You know, people don't like that. They become tripping hazards. People age, they don't love them. But I just wanted to throw that out there to you. So with that, I'm just going to stop talking, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
All right.
I actually have photographs that I thought would be helpful for you all. if you wanted to. Matt, I will send these to you so you have them.
Cool.
But these were all from NHAs. Of course, this was done in the 80s or 93. I did label it. Okay. There's that. I'm just gonna go through 'em. This one's pretty cool. This is, I think, 1890s. And obviously, I just want to point out that, you know, as much as I like that little bay window that's going to be removed, obviously it's not in keeping with the 3 bay.
I'm not seeing the photo, Holly. Did you put it on for us?
Oh, you're not? I'm sorry.
No.
Gotta love Zoom sometimes.
Gotta love it. I think it's actually bringing people closer together.
Do you really?
I think
Makes
so.
it easier to get to a meeting.
It totally does.
It does.
We're actually doing meetings that would normally be calls, and we're doing the video
Right.
thing, which is nice.
Yep. All right, can you guys see this now?
No.
Not yet. It's still,
Here we go.
Okay, there we go.
No? All right, so this one, these are all from NHA's website. I'm very grateful to NHA. So this is from 93. It just gives you what was there in the 90s.
done in sepia tone to make it look historic, that shed.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the
This
structure
one-
in the 30s, I was like, nice try, Holly.
No, here, this is perfect. Just to give you what the 3 bay.
Oh,
Nice.
that's awesome.
Yeah, this is from 1890s. I'll send this to you, Matt. Yes, sorry. But what I was saying is I'm sad for that additive bay window to be removed based on your proposal. But at the same time, you know, looking at the original 3 bay off center structure, it wasn't, you know, it's not original. So there's that.
Look at the front step.
right.
Got my little helper over here.
Needs a salary. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we do have that. That was in our packet. Duh. Sorry.
Okay.
We do
all
have
right.
What,
So
what page?
that. Should be after
55 of them.
Yeah. That should be
No.
sheet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's actually at the 8. It's in the 9th picture, Brooke, in my set, and it's from 1890. Yeah.
All right.
Crazy. So that, yeah. Sorry, I have. Yeah.
yeah, because I know you guys had the survey in there.
Yeah, we try to collect as many
Yep.
pictures.
Not everybody does though.
You just reminded me that she's like, I have that picture in there. I'm like, oh, sorry. It's a cool picture. You know,
There it is.
I skipped over it. There it is. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, they really dressed it up later on.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
They
Look
did.
at the detail on the side of the steps. I thought that's pretty unusual.
It is.
It's almost like emulating
Squared
masonry.
off.
Yeah, but like seating.
Yeah. Utilitarian. At its finest.
All right. Oh, cool. Anyway, Angus, would you like to speak?
Muted.
Muted. Perfect, man. I get
That's everything that I feel about it.
I really loved what you said, Angus. Brilliant.
I feel like this really overwhelms what's there. It not only competes with it, but I think it dominates it. Because of the gable, you get the shingle wall going up much higher. And the mass, just the sheer mass of it is, reads as larger than the original structure. I'd much rather see this sort of development on the back or some other place than right up front. And it is set back, but 5 feet or 6 feet or whatever it ends up being is I think it would need to be like 20 feet back, you know, to have that kind of impact on it. You know, you've got the same windows and the same roof pitch and those things, but the connector to the addition on the second floor is so high, and the dormer is really creating a room up there. It feels too much next to it.
Mhm.
Lucy?
I don't like the pent roof on the east, that's visible on the east elevation. And
Yeah.
I'm also concerned about the mass of the chimney on the addition above the roof line.
Is that in addition to Angus's comments?
Yes.
Mickey?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Angus on the addition. You know, I'd love to see it set back further and with a less shorter, and even the connector to be a little bit more smaller or shorter in scale. The roof, you know, it looks like an 8 and 12 main pitch on the main house, and now we've bumped it to a 12 pitch on the addition, which seems kind of out of place. So it just, yeah, it's the same height. The top of the peak is the same height as the main roof. It should be, you know, subordinate. An addition should have a subordinate feel to the main mast, and this doesn't at all. It kind of, especially with the gable forward, it kind of dominates to some degree. So the chimney, you're right, Lucy. I think that's kind of a pretty massive chimney sticking up. I think it'll be visible somewhere. But Matt, I'd love to see it try to become a little bit less important, push it back and kind of shrink it, lower plate probably, and a lower peak.
Okay, I can work on that. It's, yeah, that existing main mass it's so limited on head height to begin with, and to make that the subordinate to that has been the challenge, and still meet the code. But all good feedback, and I'll see what I can come up with.
Thanks.
Matt, just a suggestion. I think pushing it back towards the backside of the lot, if possible, and carrying an eave line across, maybe lower than what is there, and then do a dormer or something in it, maybe a shed dormer, but something that brings it down and makes it feel subordinate. Right now, it's pretty competitive with the original structure.
Yeah, and we did look at eave, but in order for it to be even remotely usable, we did kind of cheat up that plate. But anyways, I mean, like I said, I'll sliding it back may be helpful, but I'll certainly look at options.
Do you have more ground cover?
No. Nope. Pretty mad. I think we're pretty.
Is this the 30%, 1,500
yes.
square foot kind of thing?
Exactly. Yep. 30%.
All right. I was just kind of wondering if you could do some sort of a salt box addition so that, you know, at least one eave line was
Yeah.
lower, and then you could just build out your volume with a shed dormer.
Well, the other challenging part here is if you go to the second floor plan, Holly, one of the big drivers, and this is in an effort to try to keep this second floor is helpful, yeah. Try to keep as much of that second floor plan the way it is intact, and keep the stairs intact, and keep some of those core elements of the main structure intact. One of the bigger challenges has been trying to, so you get to the top of the stairs, you've got this kind of oversized landing area, but we need to utilize that landing. And we almost have this like very limited window to get into this new structure. So you'll notice that the 6/8 line is like right here. And so our pitch and all that stuff, it's like that has been the biggest driver. It may mean just to limit the scope of work to the existing structure. If I slide it back, I'm definitely going to be going through this bathroom. So anyways, just to give everybody some background in terms of how we arrived at what we did. So
Yeah, I got a feeling you're going to lose something here.
yep, I'm gonna lose a bedroom. So it just means one of the family members can't come next summer. That's fine. I'm just
Oh.
joking.
Matt, I agree with everybody's comments on it. I do also feel that it's a little large for being a secondary mass, but I think looking at how you can fit in some of the features of the addition, like how it would have been added on back in the 1830s. Somehow, I like the idea of doing the what'd you say, salt box, Brooke? I think that's a great idea. Because even looking at the south elevation, this is coming up North Liberty Street. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yeah, that's massive when you compare it to that existing 1 3/4 story 3-bay. So the scale I think definitely needs to be brought back somehow. So that's just my
I am gonna work on it diligently.
thanks, Matt.
Yep. And I'll try the salt box. Like I said, so I got some good feedback. I think pushing it back and looking at alternative roof lines and trying to match the existing pitch. So,
So can I share my screen? Because I have this up on a separate PDF editor. Holly?
Yep, go ahead. Go ahead. You can go ahead. Just that green button down below.
Yeah, I gotta find out.
All yours.
Hey, Matt, can they use the basement for an extra space for bedrooms or something?
I don't think so. We've talked about it. I know that water table, even though it's elevated, the water table is high in that area. There's also some really terrible soils, clays, perched water tables. So our approach from the beginning is that we weren't counting on it.
Yep.
Can you guys see this? Black lines?
No.
No.
All right, hang on. How about now?
There you go. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
starting. Perfect.
All right, so right there, I've got a black line. So that's the salt box. This maintains an 8 pitch. You've got a shed dormer, and then you can put this connector in there, which would be a cricket, and it could be whatever pitch you need it to be in order to get out of that main, the main body of the house. So you could actually make that ridge a little lower, something like that.
Pretty radical.
I don't
But
know.
it's cool. It's, yeah.
That was what I had in mind. I don't know if it's good.
I thought you were saying have eave side and then go salt box towards the back. So I'm glad you showed that because that's.
So now you know what you don't want to do?
What's that? I mean, it's pretty cool.
You don't have to like it.
It's pretty radical. I mean, the thing that's kind of cool about it is it's unconventional and it's kind of quirky, and so kind of in some ways make a lot of sense.
Like it.
So.
All right. So that's all I got.
Cool.
I think a low eave there and working like you imagined it, Matt, where the high part is in the back. Or or even doing a separate stair. I don't even know if that stair is legal and can you add capacity to it anyway? You know, does it make sense to have a stair go off between the living and the kitchen and go up that way?
I was trying to keep as much of the existing structure there. You know, that was the thought anyways, but I can.
Well, I like that. I like that you're only going through the window.
And that way I can keep more there. But I think I got some solid feedback here. And I'm just going to kind of run through some of these options and we'll go from there. I guess we're going to be heard tomorrow anyway, so. Anyways, yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
Okay.
All right. I think I'm done, right?
You're all done.
There's a,
No, I think you got 18 orange.
yeah, it's a bulkhead. They're just trying to remove a bulkhead.
Yes, very.
Pretty straightforward. I won't suck up any more of your time with that one. I mean, but if you have any questions, how about this? I'll hang out, but I'm just going to be quiet and I'll shut my video off and mute myself. If I hear that you guys have any questions, I'll jump back in.
All right.
Yeah?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Bye.
No concerns.
No concerns. Oh, sorry. Angus.
Here.
No concerns.
Lucy.
I'm fine.
All right. No concerns.
Good.
You've been-
Perfect. Let me just add for the record that this was probably in the best location ever because it's on that contemporary addition on the rear, so perfect location. All right, next one is 46 Wall Street. This is a shed.
No concern.
Did I just hear no concerns?
No concern.
No concern.
So this is construct the building? Build a shed?
It's a new shed. Yeah, it's a new shed. I will say,
Looks kind of cute.
yeah, the pool, it looks like they didn't provide photographs, so I put that in my notes. It is located in the proper location in the rear. There's, with these sheds, just for your benefit, I try to make sure that it's annotated that the trim and the windows and everything match the house, shingles, that kind of thing. Because sometimes these little guys don't. So.
Here, if you look at the site plan, this is
Yep.
really squeezed in that back corner, and there's a second floor deck porch, right?
Right there.
Touching
Yeah.
it. It'd be interesting to see a little bit more accurate description of how they're going to interface if they are.
Better site plan.
Well, maybe even a partial elevation of the main house or a photo.
At least a photo.
Right, there's nothing.
Yeah. Lucy? You agree?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, photos.
And Angus?
What?
But
I still don't have a problem with it.
But wouldn't you like to see how it relates to the main house? Because that is a second floor deck that's going to be overlooking it.
Does that second floor deck wrap all the way around?
It's a good question.
Because it's on it's on the south side and the west side. So is it going all the way around or are there two different bits?
I don't know. There's a line there, but I don't know.
Is it 46?
All right, can you see this? This is the
Yeah.
survey.
That helps.
There's the deck.
It's probably fine,
Oh,
but
there's
it
the
needs
second.
a little more accurate detailing site plan was.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's right up against the deck, but it's hidden, so I guess,
Yep.
I don't really care.
all right. Looks like no
All right,
consent.
one more, guys. Stamps.
It looks like, what about solar rooftop and pool?
That one actually was put on erroneously.
Yeah.
That's not in HSAB's jurisdiction, and Dean took it off and posted the agenda.
Okay.
What is
What are we
it,
doing?
26 Westchester next?
This is 26 Westchester. Proposed hardscaping in a pool. NHL data on this is that it's pre-1920s. The HDC survey says it's circa 1800, so without doing a little more research, but I think it is more, it's older than what the NHL data says, which doesn't surprise me sometimes. So I'll just show you, this is the structure way far down in the lot. It's, if you look at the locust map, really, really tiny. Here's Westchester. You go down this narrow strip and the house is at the end. So, and the pool and everything is behind it. It's not visible.
May I make my comments?
Sure, you go first.
I'd like to see elevations. And I didn't have a chance to do it this morning. My question is, how visible is all of this going to be from Lily Pond Park?
That's a good
And
question.
what about the pool fencing? What is that? And where's it going?
Angus?
I think those are all good concerns.
Mickey?
Yeah, I definitely think they're good concerns. There's no detail or indication as to any of the heights of any of these walls and the raised fire pit. I think we need much more detailed site elevation information and maybe some elevations showing the profiles of these things.
Yeah, especially after that Dukes Road project. I mean, I think that we've got to be really careful on this sort of,
Right.
It's more than landscaping, it's construction.
Yeah.
So if it's any indication, look at the amount of steps that there are between the upper and lower level.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's 12
Good point.
steps, it looks like.
You're
So
right.
a few retaining walls, I think a section through the steps looking towards the spa would be helpful.
Yeah, you're right. That's a big drop. So we need, I mean, definitely need to see elevation, normal elevations of this condition.
Okay.
And the pool fencing.
Right. So
Right.
where's the house on this? I mean, is the house
This
all
is
the
an
way?
odd site plan. Yeah, the house is down here near the end, so it's here and here. This is not really the greatest site plan, I will agree.
So it's almost all the way down at the end. So that pool and that whole spa setup is going to be right on Lily Pond, correct?
It's
Right.
easier to empty your pool that way, Brooke.
That's true. Everybody needs chlorine. Yeah.
Better living through chemistry.
It's a great movie. Yeah, there's like I'm looking at the topo on the GIS map. There's like about 16, 14, 12. There's at least a 6-foot difference between where this pool is and like the middle of the Lily Park, but you can walk right up to their property line and look right in. In fact, the little trail that goes around 6 Wesco Place, which is Hunter Ziesing,
Yeah, it's right behind that.
yeah, you'll be able to look right in to
Yeah,
that pool,
This
and
is
it's
very visible.
visible. So let's start there. All right. Anything else?
I do have one
No.
other thing, but it's not on the agenda.
Okay, so are we
Okay.
ready to close the agenda?
I will need a motion to approve your comments before you have anything else.
Anybody want to make a motion to approve what we've just said?
Well, that's
Hey,
part of what.
Yeah,
That's-
I've got a discussion point about that. Angus, go ahead.
Well, that's part of the issue is that in getting the minutes back from Kadeem 2 or 3 weeks later, I'd noticed that there was inconsistency between what we said and what was on the comment page. And, that's easy enough when we're passing the sheet around the table in our meetings, we're all looking at what the comments are and then we sign off on it. I'd like to do something similar if we can, just because, the minutes go to the meeting the following night and we aren't seeing the minutes or approving them for, sometimes up to 3 weeks. So if that's possible, I would rather, we don't really know what we're approving because we haven't seen the comments.
With this format, I mean, give me ideas. I'm trying to do the best I can to provide you all with, this whole
Yeah,
venue.
Holly, it's not your-
I mean, I will tell you, well, just saying that, this week it's better because the advisory boards is on a Monday where the HDC meeting is on a Tuesday. That's not as quick. I can tell you on the days where you guys meet the same day as HDC and those applications might be on their agenda, it's a little difficult.
Yeah.
That's all I'm doing is trying to annotate. I'm trying to synthesize the conversation as best as possible. Thank God they're recorded. That's all I can say. So, it is very, very time consuming. So if you, Angus, I think that's great. And I appreciate it. This is a new for me. As far as, having to do it in this venue, if you think of any other way that would be better, I can scan in, the sheet and everybody can, I don't know. Give me ideas and I'll work with you.
Well, you know how we used to do it. We would write the comments, or Brooke in this case would write the comments, and then they would get passed around. And I don't know whether it's something that can just get held up for us to read, but I just want to make sure that the right message is getting sent in a timely way for the next meeting where it matters at the HDC. I think I wrote you about this, and it's just it was the comments for 32 Westchester, and I remembered it differently, and I asked Mickey if he remembered it differently, and he did as well. And it's just I want to make sure, and maybe there needs to be a time lapse enough if it's not possible for us to actually see what we're approving what we're saying in the moment. If there needs to be some lapse of a week or whatever before our comments are brought to the HTC meeting. I don't know.
I have no control over that. I can tell you that because some of these applications that you saw today are on the agenda for tomorrow. So that's already been scheduled. That's already been, posted and all that. I have no control.
So, yeah, you know, there were a couple of things, there were a number of things that weren't that big a deal today, but there were some things that would make a big deal, like the addition on North Liberty, or you know, some other sort of high-profile thing or want to see, and I just want to make sure that
I have an
those-
idea, and I hate to suggest this.
What? What now?
Smile begs otherwise.
One of us gets a pile of green sheets and records this meeting as
But
it's,
Brooke, you're in charge.
well, that's why I
Great
hesitated to
suggestion.
suggest
Great
it,
idea.
but that would be the answer.
Well, how about if, Holly, you're taking
Take
notes, right?
turns. We'll each
I
get a
take
pile.
notes and they're also recorded because this gets posted on the town website within a 24-hour period. Here comes Kadeem. He can help us out.
Okay, but Holly, if you're taking notes, for instance, on this Westchester thing, if you, after we're done, if you said, okay, the committee's concern is we want to see elevations or whatever, so that we know what you're going to be saying at the HDC meeting. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I took a whole page worth of notes. I
Oh.
listened to what everybody was saying. I try to synthesize as much as possible to put in that little tiny block of information, if you will. If you guys don't want me to put your initials, I've been putting the initials and kind of summarizing what you're saying. I'm trying to do that the entire time. You know, I think for the most part, I think I am 99% of the time getting you guys' points across to
You
the
are.
commission.
Thank you.
And they are very, very appreciative of receiving your comments. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I think the chair of the HDC, he emphasizes that quite a bit. I will tell you that sometimes, you know, with the emotion of the meeting, as far as, you know, there's so many applications, the meeting goes on till almost 9:30 at night. Sometimes I don't get a chance to say, hey, and you know, there's advisory comment here, but I will just state the comment, and it's a comment that you guys indicated on the application. So again, this format isn't the greatest. I'll be the first to admit, but you guys are an important part of this piece. So am I, and I'm trying to do the best I can to get you guys' information in there. It's very difficult with the way my scenario is right now to be able to, in a perfect world, if I'm in the office, I'd be able to and scan all this stuff in and send it to you. So maybe I could get a quicker turnaround to you to approve them before I can get them to the HDC. But that perfect world is not here right now.
Yeah, we're just trying to make it easier for you.
So I don't know, maybe if emailing me what you think, what your comment, I mean, I don't know. I know this is all different, so.
Yeah.
Vicky,
Brooke,
yes.
you brought up the possibility of filling out the green sheets. Can you, while we're still in this session, can you scan the green sheet and bring it up on your screen and we can review it?
My scanner works very, very slowly, but I could just hold something up and
Why
do
not?
that.
Well, try it. Hold up a piece of paper. Let's see if we can read it.
All right.
Could you photograph it?
Let me see if I can bring something up that's.
Well, the thing is, Holly, your minutes of everything we've done, it has been so accurate and perfect. But when I was reading these from Kadeem, I've stopped at the second one. I'm like, wait a minute, there's something.
Well, I mean, everything that you see on those green pages is what I'm filling out after. I take minutes, I take notes of every single application. And then when I'm done, when I get a moment, I go through and actually make it so it's legible, because, you know, sometimes I'm rushing, make it clear so people can read it. And sometimes I'm synthesizing and kind of condensing what you guys are saying to make it legible for everybody, as well as to get the points across. Because I know that, you know, in the meeting, sometimes, you know, you can go here, there, and everywhere. And I just kind of want to get those important points across to the commission at the meeting, as well as on the notes. So, I mean, you know, I've kind of filled in some of these. I don't know if you can see. the ones that you guys said no concern, obviously those are the easiest ones. I think the one in particular, I think that was a one where, if I remember correctly, Jason had mentioned that it just needed a whole new redesign. The whole thing was just
How about this?
atrocious.
How about this? If there is a particularly involved application like North Liberty, at the end of the meeting, we say, in addition to the other comments, Holly, would you show us the comments that you made on this application? And then you could show what you've written. And then I can say, would someone like to make a motion to approve all of the comments? So
I like that.
in the spirit of that, Holly, would you show us what what notes you took for North Liberty?
Yes, just let me
Alright.
do one thing so you guys can actually see, because when I hold it up, you're not gonna be able to see it if I still have.
And
All right, I don't know if you guys are gonna see this, but let me just read it. Angus, overwhelms, the addition overwhelms and dominates the original, need to push back. Same windows and pitch. Connector second floor is high, too much. Lucy, don't like the pent roof on the east. The large chimney on the addition, you didn't like that. Mickey, you would love to have the setback further out with a shorter connector. The main is 812 pitch. The addition has a 12. That's out of place. Peak should be less and subordinate. And lower plate and eave. Angus, pushback and carry eave line and shed dormer, because now it's overwhelming. And then Brooke, you indicated making that into a salt box addition. So
That's
that just
perfect.
gives
So-
a.
was there any other
I'm
application?
trying.
Was there any other?
Yeah, was there
application
another one?
you would want
I
to
think
see?
that's all good.
Yeah. So
And also another comment too. It is, if I may, sorry, Brooke. If there's a particular application that you guys want to see back with the revisions, please tell me.
well, definitely want to see that one, the Liberty Street,
Absolutely.
North Liberty. I mean,
Yep.
or whatever it
In
is.
the Westchester one with the elevations.
Oh, the pool.
The
Yes.
pool, yes, yes.
I'm going to suggest that we see all of the revisions. I mean, is that
Okay.
is that too much?
Yeah, well, the porch railing, I mean, unless, what if the HDC decides, well, we really like your crossbuck idea, do we have to see that again? I mean, it's technically,
And they might.
Yeah. I
Well,
guess
we're
there are
meeting
some that can go through.
yeah, I mean, sometimes like we can't put the hurt on people for
If it's
something like that.
a fairly insignificant change, like we make the suggestion for the cross rails for that one porch. So, I mean, do we really need to see it again? I don't think so.
Yeah,
But
it would be
like
nice.
building mass and changes, with that are fairly significant. I would like to see all those back.
All right, so maybe we just say which ones we want to see back.
All right. So, Mickey, do you have any particular ones you'd like to see back?
On this meeting, I don't remember what they were. How about the Cornish one? Are we asking for suggestions? Yeah, that's the railing, or are we assuming, if they make revisions to these, I'd like to see the revisions rather than
Yeah, right.
like a staff approval. So I'd say that for Cornish.
How about the roof walk on Orange Street?
Definitely. That might be it.
Yeah.
Westchester, obviously.
So-
Yeah, Westchester
West-
Pool.
Westchester, 18 Orange, 75 North Liberty, 5 Cornish, and 32 Westchester.
32 North Liberty.
And 32 North.
I mean 32 North Liberty, sorry. That's what I
Yes.
meant.
All right. So would someone like to make the motion to accept Mr. Rowland's recommendations for seeing revisions again
I will.
for those particular properties? Seconded?
Okay.
All right. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Okay. I think that's
Got
it.
Are you approving all your comments?
Yes. Angus or Lucy, you want to make a motion to approve all of our comments?
yes, make a motion to approve.
Second? Anybody?
Aye.
All right. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Guys,
All right. Motion to adjourn, anybody?
I'll make
Okay.
it.
All right. Second?
second.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
I,
All right.
all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Holly.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Holly.
Holly.
thank you guys. Appreciate it. Have a good
Yeah.
one.
See you.